Hey, everybody. It's Kathy and Mark from Cinemondo. Happy 2025, everybody. It's exciting, right? We'll see what this year
It's
brings.
not so exciting. But what is exciting is that I've been hearing about this movie, The Last Showgirl, for a while. And
Yes.
I've loved the transformation or evolution of Pamela Anderson. I love
Right.
that she has gone into like enveloping some more natural, like her natural beauty and not being such a cartoon, which I think is amazing. It put her back in the forefront of your mind. So I always wondered, like, what is she doing now? Like, wasn't sure.
It's interesting when, people that are popular, famous, like in the 90s, it was all about Baywatch and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And how or other actors, they kind of go away and they come back and they have a second life.
Mhm.
I always thought, I always looked at her and said, there's a lot, just my head. I said, there's more than just, the glammed up, gal that was on Baywatch. I just said, there's something there because she was involved in PETA and she had some, when I would say, she seems like a pretty cool
Yeah.
person.
Yes.
But we didn't get to see that, on the screen,
Mm-mm.
and then she did go away. And so this is, her comeback. The film's
Yeah.
called The Last Showgirl, directed by Coppola. And it's a perfect vehicle for her because
Yes.
it's about this, aging, like she's in her 50s. She's in this kind of old school sort of Vegas act
Yeah.
called the Razzle Dazzle, which is
I
sort of
love
like,
the name even. So it
yeah.
sounds so old.
Yeah, exactly. It's very like 80s or whatever. And she started way back when. So she's been
Yeah.
there for the whole run, and that's her life. And she thinks it's very important because it's kind of a classy sort of
Yes.
showgirl thing. It's not sort of like, they talk about some play, the newer ones, like it's called like hedonistic weekend or something,
It's
where
basically a strip show. Is what
it's
it is.
basic, right,
Super,
right.
like, provocative. I know I love when they have, uh, the younger showgirl kinda show what the show is, and she does
Yeah.
this full on strip. I was like, "What?" Lap dance looking, and
And
they were
she's
all like,
Kieran,
"No."
and she's Kiernan Shipka. If you remember, she was
Yes, that's right.
Don Draper's daughter
Don
on
Draper's
Mad Men.
daughter, who's in
So,
everything now, and she was
I,
also in that Red One as the villain. I just
gotcha.
watched
Yeah.
it the holidays, and then she was also in The Black Coat's Daughter, which is an Oz Perkins movie, which I loved. So,
Yes, that's quite good. So,
she's really
uh,
good.
so it's and there's a good cast. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis plays a waitress, and she's really great in the scene she's in.
I think she honestly stole it. I mean, I know it's Pamela Anderson's show, and she was great, but
Yeah,
Jamie Lee Curtis was on fire, literally, like, was just so alive and electric. She loved being a waitress for, like, the 100 years she'd been doing it, and she just has
right,
that look, she looks really weathered, and they shot her really unflatteringly, and that's what I love about Jamie Lee Curtis, she does not care how she looks.
right.
And so she looks super trashy, and she's got the super sexy, her push-up bra with,
Right.
and I love that she's all like, "I love waitressing," and she did not mind men grabbing her, like, she was sorta into that old school thing. She
Yeah,
was so good in this movie.
yeah.
I was blown away. I thought she was
She's
amazing and
she's
tragic and just,
Yeah.
couldn't say
I mean, there's great, and I think everybody's really good. I mean, she's a standout. Pamela Anderson is extremely good. I mean, you just sort of like, it's not just the fact that she doesn't wear makeup. It's that she's playing a real character here who's trying to
yeah,
deal with her daughter, the relationship is strained.
exactly.
And then Dave Bautista plays Eddie, who's the stage manager,
Yeah.
and he's sort of this soft-spoken, sort of sympathetic guy, but then he's got like, there's a past there. And the
And I
show's
really liked him
closing.
too. Speaking of him,
Yeah,
I almost didn't know who he was at first. He seemed
yeah,
very Chris Christopherson, kinda just
yeah,
kinda like just kinda rugged, he's seen it all, and he's so mellow and chill in it, like, he just seemed very soothing, like he was used to dealing with all of the emotional drama involved in running a stage show or running a hotel or a club there. I mean, you can only imagine. So he's all about de-escalating
right,
to the
right,
point where he feels disconnected.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I thought he was so good in this. I liked his shaggy hair too.
I think he's a really good actor for, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw the Shyamalan film Cabin in the Woods, which is actually a
Yes,
pretty good movie, and
it
he's
was.
really good in this
Mhm.
soft-spoken sort of
Yeah.
teacher who's sort of like giving this bad news. Anyway, I mean, he's really good. So it's a really good. It's just it captures what it would be like to be backstage at
Yes.
sort of kind of cheesy Vegas act,
Yeah.
and it's closing down, and they don't know what they're going to do with their lives,
Mhm.
and it's kind of a slice of life. It's only like 80 minutes long. It's not a long
Yeah.
film,
Yeah.
but it gets right into the relationships that they have. Like the first scene is backstage; they're running around, changing outfits, but they're still having everyday
Yeah,
conversation.
very electric. Like they just knew it by heart. It was like they were able to get ready, put on the makeup, put on the costumes, and they're boom, boom, boom. And I also liked how the whole thing was at the backstage, right? All
Yeah,
the swirling and the energy. And there she is backstage. You never actually see the show. And I love how they hold it till the very end. Because at this point, you're only seeing them taking off the makeup, putting on the makeup, everybody's hair is up, they look kind of raggedy. You're seeing girls walking down the hallways past each
right.
other with these big things on, and then you cut to her apartment where everything just kind of de-escalates energy wise, and she's just trying to hang on, just barely hanging on. And I
Yeah,
love that, like it's all very low key. So at the end, when they show the show and she's gorgeous and glamorous, and you're like, I see why she wanted to hang on to it, like, because you're not sure, it just doesn't look like that big a deal until you see it.
right.
Like, she
And
comes
she's
alive
also
and she's amazing.
and she's also sort of the star. Like she's almost like the one that has
Yes.
all the extra
Yes.
plumage and wings and stuff,
Yes.
and she's just got this beautiful smile.
Mm.
And I now this is I'm going to throw this as a bit of a spoiler. Not that this is like a spoiler kind of movie. There's not twists and turns. It's more like a character thing.
Yeah.
But at the end, when she's with the big smile on the face, and you look at and then there's a shot of her daughter Hannah, and then there's a shot of Eddie, Dave, but then they're kind of gone. Like I'm not sure if they were really there, if that was in her mind that she was there, or if they were really there. I had a hard time figuring that out, because also backstage Hannah comes back and says, I'm mom, with a big smile, I'm here to see the show, but then she's almost like disappears in a weird sort of cut. So I don't know. I may just be reading into it, but I was like wondering
No,
if she was sort of wishful thinking that they would be there and be clapping and be happy, or they just weren't there and they don't care.
I think that's a very interesting point, actually, because it seemed like the show wasn't just a show to her. It was like where she felt like all good things happen. So I almost feel like every time she did the show, did she see them sitting in the front row happy for her? Like it was kind of like, this is what I go here for. So it was not just a show. It was her connecting with people she loved, even if they weren't really there. Like,
Right.
I thought I love that idea. And it would be less like, oh, everything turned out happy, And I really didn't like the daughter, like coming at her like that. I know we always have those scenes, like the young daughters are just I just hate how young women are written in, and they're so terrible to their mothers. And I go, Pamela Anderson's like, I did the best I could. I have dreams too. Like, I'm not just a mom. I'm a lot of things. So everybody's like, well, you didn't do it. It's like, you need to calm down.
Felt a little like, where's this coming from? Because, she's like, well, you kept me in the car for 2 hours while you did your act. Well, hey, that's how she makes a living. So
She's
suck it up for 2
trying to
hours.
feed you. So, but I guess she felt like, why didn't you just get a normal job and you could be home? And like, I just hate that sort of self-centered narcissism of teen girls in movies now, where they're just eye roll all the time at their parents.
Right.
My sympathies and our sympathies are with Pamela Anderson. The daughter was not correct in any of that.
No,
yes, was she the perfect mother? Is anyone?
And she only had a few scenes, the daughter. So to choose the scenes as being this kind of one where she's sort of bitching and moaning at her, you don't like you're not going to like her, because you're with you're with Shelley. You're with her character all the way. Like in the very first shot of the movie is like this. She's auditioning, and then it cuts before the audition starts, and then you realize that's kind of a flash forward after the show ends, and she does it. Then you see the actual audition with cameo by Jason Schwartzman, who is the one behind the microphone there. And it's just so like cringe, and it's just so sad. It was hard to watch. Like, like the way they treat her, like, we want somebody sexy. They're looking at her. You've aged out of sexy. That's what he's saying.
So painful.
But she's great. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. I think the whole cast is a winner. I think it just felt like a really nice slice of life vibe for what it's like to have that life in Vegas,
Yes, and they did a great job shooting Vegas, or it wasn't all like the big glam Vegas. It's what it really feels like. Hot, lots of sun on it, this pavement everywhere. But I have to say, the main thing I loved most was that Jamie Lee Curtis solo dance, where she gets up on that little stage and just in her waitress outfit, she just starts dancing and moving. Oh my God, I live for that.
To the song "Total Eclipse of the Heart," which is like an '80s epic.
Oh my God, I loved her so much in this. So yes, even if you don't care about Vegas or Pamela Anderson, Jamie Lee Curtis. Seriously,
Yeah, it's well worth watching. I'm
really
glad
good.
it's getting positive recognition. I'm glad she's sort of have maybe resurrecting and have a second second life as a more of a actress playing real roles as opposed to being a lifeguard in Malibu. So
Which is
or
kind of
wherever exactly, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You were right to say it's a slice of life. It's not a big drama, not lots of action. It was more like little emotional moments and lifestyle, like down to earth kind of film. And I
Yes.
think that's its strength, is that it's not trying to do the big glam Vegas. It's doing that. This is what it's really like to live and work in Vegas. It's
Right.
rough. It's
It's
rough.
rough, and there's a lot of dreams that die there, and
Yes.
people they go there. It would be a showgirl, and then the show ends, and then what are you going to do?
You
Audition again for another show, or are you going to leave and just get a regular? You got to go back
Yeah.
home. I mean, what do you
How do you
do?
do it? How
You
did
know?
how? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and the
You get
scary
tough.
part was when the show just ends, like they just kill off the show. There's Jamie Lee Curtis, who also was like, "What are we gonna do?" Because even she was like, my job." And so here are these 2 women who barely made it, have no savings, older women. Well, how are they gonna retire? How? Where? What? I mean, there was that moment of just the bottom falling out. It felt so like,
Oh
hopeless.
yeah.
But yeah.
So she had to stay with her for a while because she was sleeping in her car.
Yes.
And they're saying early on, she goes, I don't have a 401k or whatever she
Oh,
said.
501k.
501k, yeah.
I
Yeah,
know, it's like, they're just getting by, and so
yeah,
the future seemed far at the time, I'm sure they didn't
right.
save, and I mean, none of us were thinking about 401ks when we were that
No,
it's like, "Ah, whatever,"
no,
but as you get
no.
older, you're like, should have had that 401k."
Yeah, exactly,
Is
exactly.
a
So
501k better? I'm not sure, was
I
that
don't know what a 501k is.
not anything.
That's something. It's not anything.
It's not anything.
But
So, but I really enjoyed this, I thought it was great, I loved seeing Pamela Anderson like this, loved it.
me too.
So,
Me
it
too.
was
I
really
thought
cool.
she was great. And
Yeah.
again, check it out. The Last Showgirl. It's not streaming yet, but it will be streaming shortly. It's at the theaters now, so check it out.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. Thanks for
Bye.
watching. See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.